Any other question? Can I proceed? Important that the route cannot be split. I cannot split one MG SIP to two different routes. There was a plan for a specific project, but again, NCG Bank canceled.
If we make a route, different route, what will happen?
The two routes will be for the same destination. What's the point? Right?
So some cases we have same company, they are sharing the other people. They need to assign separate channels. Like
For what?
I faced that issue. They asked from me.
Explain for me.
Yeah.
Explain for me.
Yeah.
I need to understand.
One
Yeah,
location.
120.
One location. 30 channels.
Okay.
They will divide 15 channels for the one company, 15 channels for the second company. They will use that one prefix. The other one is using another prefix.
Yes, we divided with the
Prefix for what? Explain for me. You are going for.
Outgoing code.
You have to
Two different prefixes. Example 8 and 9.
Okay.
9 is
A
using 8 and 9.
and 9.
Example.
Okay.
Right? 8 is using one company, 9 is using one company.
Okay.
Right? 9 is using separate 15 channel.
What the mean? But what's the mean of separate 15 channel where you have the same carrier destination here?
Yes, but they asking.
No, I understand your question and the
Yeah.
answer is possible. I can have this LCR and I can route for route number 1. And I can use this LCR code and route it for route number 1. What's the point? If you
Yeah.
dedicate 15 channel, what's the point?
Maybe the traffic, that means example in one company is taking 16 calls outside, they cannot. Right?
Okay.
The other people-
You can
allocation.
Since it's a simple trunk, you have multiple ways to manipulate it. Maybe you can assign for the user who will use route access code 8 a limited bandwidth, so they will not go more than 15 calls.
I'm talking about this 9500.
9500.
Yeah, I'm talking that it's lower range. They are requiring this.
I think this is a small business requirement. I think it's
Yeah.
not. It's not in this level of business that will find the
This is
system.
pointless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pointless.
Yeah.
Khalid idea sometimes, especially in the military or in the police, they have two company or they are two premises beside each other. We don't want to put here PBX and here PBX. One PBX will serve both.
Clear.
Okay, in Norcal the term it was multi-customer. This is customer, it's
This is
like
tenant
tenant,
based.
like tenant. Okay, and one PRI, I will divide the channel. This is 15 channel for this
We are
premise
talking about
and this
BRI
is
again.
for
I'm talking about an MGC.
or on GSIP. On
Completely
GSIP.
different process.
We can
Completely different process. Even I can tell you the way that you are telling is correct. You can divide, but NCC Japan will not support. It's possible. We do it in Russia for all Astron versions, but again, it's not support. In the BRI, if you have 30 channel, you want to trim onto 2 bars. Again, in the level of ISDN, tenant base, you can make the routing. You can make the routing. Even you don't need a tenant. You can simply do it with MBID.
okay. Other thing, can we divide the channel even
What's
in the
the
ship
point?
for some channel for incoming, some channel for outgoing?
It's true. But again, for 128,
It will be done by the carrier.
Yeah.
We cannot do it by ourselves. We cannot divide the channels.
for incoming and going,
Yeah.
we can also, Abdullah, limit it from the bandwidth range. But the point, again, why? Why we need to do this in enterprise?
To prioritize somebody and to deprioritize somebody. We need to give this priority to somebody. Means
For this, you can with an EID. You can split it into multiple routes, but again, for how many people you need this? For to split someone, you will have a dedicated route. In most of the enterprise, these people who have a private lines, they have a secure lines connected for a different carrier, right? They don't use the public routes, right? If you go for any military or any oil and gas, you will find a major BRI route and secondary SIP route, primary basic route or COT, and this can be for the private people. They are not using the shared one. What your understanding as small business is accurate and correct because you will have only one BRI.
Yeah.
You will have a COT and you want to utilize it as much as you can. That's correct. But here,
We have enough resources, right?
Can we use this route method to assign DOD? We can make another route and we can send the DOD through this route.
but again, the DOD is a user base.
Yeah, either way.
Because this is simple. I can write down my header. I can modify my header, whatever my extension is, if the carrier allows me. Right? Clear? Clear? This is simple trunk, not ISDN. Now, with a divergent, this is meant for MGSIP to MGSIP, and useful if in case of you have a firewall who's not allowing only the SIP trunking, and it's meant to use between 295. One divergent of MGSIP can be connected to multiple destinations, and the destination will be 95, not the carrier. Be aware, one route can be have X number of trunk, and X number of trunk can be shared among the various destinations. Again, no trunk splitting. Maximum number of MGSIP 16 is 188 multiplied by 16 channel. Maximum number of 128 is 44. And the total number should not exceed 6144, which is the total system capacity. Maximum number of stimulus call per IMG, including the SDN channel, should not exceed 460. Because when IMG, if you are really consuming 384 board, it means you consume already 2 BIR only for ISDN. This is how MGSIP looks like. It's a device can be mounted inside the MDC chassis, and here your console cable to connect to maintenance, and here your LAN management to connect to the telephone server, and here to connect to your carrier. You can say, I don't want Ethernet 2. I want only to have Ethernet 1 to connect to the LAN, and at the same time the same network. It's possible. 128 have again the same topology, but with a different box. This box we name it Astaran DC box. Astaran DC box used for 3 purposes, if we can say. 4 purposes. We can use it for 96 MGSIP, we can use it for 128 MGSIP, we can use it for Astaran DC, and we can use it for SR node using Astaran DC. What we are talking about now is only 128. And it's identical behavior of this one, but in the big box. You have LAN 1, LAN 2, and USB connector not used, console cable connected to your maintenance. This is for your SIP network, this is for your 95.
I find many devices with the USB. What's the point of
For future use.
that? Future use.
For future use.
What is SMRG dash B, MGC-B? What is B?
We have with the old days Astaran DC only. Then we come with Astaran DC E. Then we come up with Astaran DC A, EA. For the 95, we only release Astaran DC E, B, with the black color. But the same if you have an installed base with 85. And you have Astaran DC EA, it's identical to 95B. It's the same, but different color. Clear?
This model.
Yes, it's just a model. But there is an important remark here, Abdullah. If you have Astaran DC E, you cannot use it with the latest version of MGC. E. We have, sorry, SRMGC E. It's a little bit old version, I think 2010. EA is 2014 version, and EB 2016 version. This is for 95, this is for 85, this is for 85. If you want to migrate 85 to 95, you cannot reuse this with the latest MGSIP version. You have to use B version. For the installed base again.
If I have an EB, we can do everything.
Yes. Even you can install the B, E.
And this is related also with the license.
No license.
To choose which license.
With
No, there is no license required for MGSIP.
Version license.
For SV95.
Not the license, sorry, the software.
That's
You want to
system
download.
capacity.
Yes. But there is no special license.
The software, huh?
What software?
So,
This is also for the firmware of the MGSIP itself. Yes. There is a, in the business net, you will find version which is compatible with E, version which is compatible with A and B. They are written in the FCO. That's why in your flash you will find a lot of FCO. Each FCO will describe for you which device you can use with this firmware. Don't install any firmware without knowing where you are going. Read the FCO. The FCO is only 3 pages. Read it carefully and you will know if it's possible to use or not. Clear? Now, we are talking about the virtualized version, which will come with a virtualization option of 95 and it started in the V2. The advantages from product management point of view, it's cost effective. Abdullah tried, but it was not cost effective in this case. But to be honest, in the real enterprise customer, it's really cost effective because all of the customers, they have their own virtualized environment. You don't need to supply for the customer virtualized environment, but you can deploy the SV95 MGSIP inside the customer deployment, and that's it. So it's really cost effective because you don't need to have any hardware for it. The customer already have the hardware, and you will sell the license per channel. How many virtual simple trunk machine trunk you will need? So you can sell it per channel. Minimum order, I think, 8 channel. You need at least 5.5. I think officially VMware 5.5 is not supported anymore from VMware themselves. You will not find the customer running with this VMware version. The minimum version is now 6, and the latest version is 6.9 from VMware. And you need a license for simple trunk if you have a virtual machine. If you have a box, you don't need a license. If you have a box, you don't need a special license for simple trunk. It will consume only capacity. But with virtual machine, you need simple trunk license per box. Clear? Service condition. One instant of MGSIP can provide maximum of 128. More or less this means that the box and the virtual machine are identical to each other. If you remember, the implementation of 95 physical machine and virtual machine have the same capability. And again, the box and the virtual machine have the same capability. So it's just a way of deployment. If I would like to go with virtual machine, that's fine and good. If I want to go with the box, that's fine and good. But they have the same features. Clear? And also, for the virtualized, you have public version and type version. Public version, which is one-to-one relation, connect with the carrier. Type version to connect 95 to 95. Clear? With V4, we come up with a multiple expansion, which is again 254 channel, and it can be split into multiple routes. Officially, we don't release multiple route of 254 in EMEA. We only release it for a very specific project base. Very specific project base. And public version can be used in a share route. Public version can be used with a multiple carrier. But again, we did for this specific case with V4 with virtualized very distinctive test. That means we just force the partner there to make a certificate test with 4 vendor, with 4 carrier to approve this presentation. And it costs around 50 or 60,000 euro to approve this from the other vendors. Again, that's why I say clearly one-to-one relationship. This is a project base. Inshallah, you will get one day a very good project with this number of channels. I will be happy to do this certificate test for you. Clear? Now, this is an important summary because sometimes people a little bit confused the information in the peripheral device manual and the documentation, the profits and the training. Here, the version name. Here is the version name and what is the number of channel and the latest version and the type, the usage, and what's the operating system of this. So this is a quick summary for you. It's there from the configuration guide. You will find the same references. Also, here's the box that you are going to use, SRMDC EB. In the manual of 95 peripheral device, look for this version. Look for this version. So you'll find the exact one, because you'll find in the peripheral device maybe 10 different types of MGSIP. Look only for the version that you are using. Otherwise, you'll be a little bit confused. Virtual machine can handle with 2 core. That's fine. 4 core can support up to 5.6, and you can use NEC server R110i. This may have also maximum workload. You should also consider some CPUs, and this is related for the design of your virtual machine. This SRMDC box we made for this software. We made for this software, but in the virtual machine, you are depending on HP or Dell or NEC to utilize the resources for you. We provide this virtual machine with an OVA file format. That means the software of the MGSIP plus the CentOS is already preloaded for you. You just apply it in the customer premises. But the customer should know this information to utilize the resources for it. We have also a nice example. This is for one of the projects of Austria. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different MGSIP connected for different destination. And with the BSTN, we always use SPC. I mean in Europe, maybe here in the Middle East you don't have a real Centron. But there, you cannot just move up your MGSIP in the public, otherwise next day will be hacked. Yeah. Clear? This is an example of multiple MGSIP with multiple destinations.
We are using the SBC for protection and the proper configuration. That means
No. SPC is a big subject, and it's
Yeah,
training.
no, this is not required.
Let me tell you something. A training of 10 days. But to summarize it, I have a document in BusinessNet called Why You Need SBC with SV9000, with 91, with 93, with 95.
90.
Why you need SBC. And what's the best implementation method with SV95, for example, with SBC.
أنا بتذكر عشان سكايب فور بزنس.
Skype business we can connect. You can connect directly with 95, but 93 no. 91 no. 91 you can try, but 93, 95 you can.
But 93 you have to use the SPC.
Must.
Must, yes.
I'm trying to slow down with the MGSIP because there is a lot of information that you have to learn. We have DX series, NEC DX series, and the documents. Also you have virtual machine, by the way, SBC. You can deploy with the virtual machine. And we have here EX series connected with SV series.
When we don't have SPC on the flight, and we the firewall or the MGC
Firewall is
to protect or
This is also
secure.
important with how the out split is also correct. What is SBC? It's a layer 5 firewall. So using in your firewall, layer 3 and layer 5 firewall. This is the logic behind.
So it's okay to use.
In our Middle East region, we are not really connected to internet to go for our subnet. The carrier will provide the device, and through this device we will be connected. So the carrier himself is doing the security activity for you. But in Europe, no. You are connected to a public internet. In your scenario, you are more than secure because the carrier who handles the responsibility of security over internet. This is the document that reference just how to configure and why to configure. And what could be the best implementation with 95, with 91, with 93 for this. It's not a big document, by the way. It's also describing here, for example, 95 with MD cell and SPC implementation, and why to use it in this design. There is a separate course for 10 days, which is SPC course. If you're really interested in UC solution, do it, because it's a very important subject. First of all, you have to do, I think, voice over IP course, then you can go for SPC. That's also very important. There's every now and then we deliver a webinar, a free webinar for DXCs.
That means in our case, no need SPC. This is not must.
No at all. But you can, if you take the responsibility, I don't mind.
This design is not us, not from us.
So if customer asks, then we can do it.
Yes. And sometimes, Abdullah, in this kind of implementation, with this size, you really need SPC. If the customer don't ask, you have to.
Yeah, that means we have to advise
Even
for them,
STC
right?
SIP trunks are hacking nowadays, and people are asking that we need the security from your side.
We installed one in Rotana Hotel online.
Again, Rotana, they are using the same topology that they use in STC. So they, the Etisalat or Orange will deliver you a kind of router. They say this is a router. Internally it's SPC. It's SPC. And they will connect with, you will be connected to SPC, not for the real Etisalat themselves. Clear? For the box type, you need to book complete highway. You cannot use any slot rather than 32. Otherwise, you really consume your system capacity. You really consume your slots. And for the virtualized MD the only registered LIN, the only registered LIN based on AMGIL, ACIC2, ACIC are occupied. That means if I have a box, I have to assign the first highway, at least the first 32 channel, because it's 128. Maybe my carrier don't provide 128 channel. My recommendation, assign all the 128. Assign all the 128. But there is an option in AMGIL to set the usable channel. So the system automatically will make busy the other channel. For future planning, maybe we'll say, Dinar will say, well, okay, I have 128 and I will use only 60. I don't want to assign everything. His approach is correct. But the service condition here you have to book at least 32. If you would like to go in this, if you don't want to assign the ATRK or NSIC2 more than 16, you need to book this highway for MDC only.
Sorry, Khalid, you mean here also the lens, just 32?
This is the exact point. The lens, you should book a highway, 32 slot, 4-line group,
4-line group.
4-line group, only.
Only, not 128 for lens.
My recommendation,
We put them
all of them, because you don't know after in the future what will happen, right?
Yeah, we put them all.
Assign all of, I already do.
Oh.
I keep, for example, in Abdullah example, we keep the usable one, but we program everything. So later on we'll not go in any mismatch, which one is used, which one is not used. I want to reassign later because I already use this then. No.
But why not in virtualized environment? Why not?
Because here it's really depending Abdullah and the AMGIA and ACIC2 assignment.
So we need one then here.
One levels.
But if the channels are more than,
More than one.
means still in my case 16 incoming, 16 outgoing, we are 32 channels.
Yes.
And we are doing only one line.
No. We are talking about 32 channel.
No.
Yeah, we're talking about 32 channel.
Then we have to do the same.
No, here Abdullah, it's not, it's if you have a 8 channel. 8 channel. Only for incoming and outgoing. You have to assign the 32. You have to book the 32. Here you can assign the only 8.
Okay. But if we have 32,
Minimum
we
you have
book
to
38.
reserve for 32.
for Vox.
for box.
بس هل انت حكيت my recommendation انه نحجز اكثر؟
128. You have a box called 128 and you said book the 128. Then use what you like. Because after 10 years, maybe you'll come, I want to expand my MG set. I want to do this in my MG set.
انت بتحكي عن اللينز.
Exactly. I'm only talking about the lens.
Because what we receive from the carrier, maybe it just 32, huh?
Depending on your career, depending on what your customer do. Abdullah has 32.
Simultaneous.
Yeah. Simultaneous 32.
But they have 100 numbers.
Yeah, but
This is
the
DAD,
idea.
right?
DID, yes.
This is DAD.
يعني احنا عم نحكي عن 4 هاي واي.
Yes.
My case, I have a monocore connection for the MDC.
You have two different MG set.
Yeah.
Then two different tools.
Yeah.
Then
I
the
have
same consideration
three,
will be met.
three cards, then I have to put 123 allocation.
With movie core, in my understanding, you have to start at least with 8. At least. Because movie core licenses from movie core side for Simprac is expensive. So the customer, whatever it is, the reason he will utilize with movie core is
Mobicall is also Ciptron.
Yeah,
Movie
system
core is
protocol is connected.
Ciptron, no?
connected via Simprac, yes. Only. And also the MLS. The data message over there.
هذا بالنسبه لللينز في اي دوكيومنتيشن او شيء سمري للشغلات اللي بدها هاي واي والشغلات اللي ما بدها هاي واي.
It's written directly in the manual. And it's written in the summary of the MGC configuration.
نو عم بحكي بشكل عام مثلا الام جي 7 بده 32 البي اس 32 مثلا بده وات ايفر في سمري لهم كلهم
Station manual.
انستليشن مانوال.
Unit 0, line group 0 is not supported. Anyone can tell me why?
0, 0 is not.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 is not supported for anything. It's blocked. And also the internal side, internal communication with 95 is a QSync. The internal communication between the MGSIP box or the MGSIP virtual machine to 95, it's a QSync. It's not an EC proprietary protocol, by the way. It's QSync. And since version 4.2, encryption in the internal bar is supported.
Excuse me, it is mentioned that even number module,
Again,
Even.
even number module,
with continue
about two.
even number modular group with 0 and line group 0 does not support MGSIP. Also, don't forget MIDI, we discussed in the first day about the virtual register. Do not cross over, but it's better not to use the even number group 0 and 0. If you are unit group number 2, it's fine.
We can use 200.
Yes, you can. But again, you're consuming your lane, you are consuming your slots. Think about highways better, right? RTB encryption is not supported with the carrier. Simply. Because you don't know the carrier encryption protocols. You don't know which carrier will have SRTB. RFC 2833 supported between MGSIP and BSTN as well as with 95 The pilot number of or the key number of MGSIP will be presented as a caller ID. This is a simple rule. Can be edited and this is within the new configuration. No caller ID.
So this is depend any number we put.
The
not
basic,
different.
basic rule, if you just do straightforward implementation of MGSIP, the number will be displayed the key number. Because the key number will be placed inside your URI header. A simple rule. This can be modified, yes. You can ignore this number and create your DID. Basically, if you don't have any DID, this number will be shown. Clear? No caller ID presented with the call forwarded from public SBSTN. No caller ID is presented when the call is forwarded to the public SIP network. That means I called Khaled extension and Khaled extension forward to SIP. I can show my number. I can show his number, not mine. This is the point. Port tool can be provided via DS32, and again, with each and every carrier you want to connect, try connectivity test with the carrier. Don't just go blindly. You remember, Abdullah, how much time we spend, and also Atif, how much we spend time just to utilize. It was a lot of parameter that we really need to study.